Hi, in this video I want to talk about price conversations, or rather how not to have a price conversation, because as I mentioned in a previous video, they tend never to go well, price conversations, and you really don't want to have them. Better still to have a value conversation. So how do you transition the buyer from price to value? Well, suppose the buyer's turned around to you and said, your price is too high. Well, then you can respond with one of those canned responses from my previous videos like, okay, well, tell me, what makes you say that? And then the buyer's going to come back to you with potentially a number of different answers. But the one I want to deal with today is they come back and say, well, I can buy it cheaper from your competitor. So in that case, you can come back again with a prepared response that is along the lines of, okay, I understand. So what is most important to you, cheapest price or value for money? Now the buyer's going to respond in one or two ways here. And 10, 20% of them are going to say cheapest price. And in that case, you want to decide whether or not you want to participate in this opportunity or exit. Are you prepared to be the low bid? If not, maybe you leave. But 80%, 90% in fact say value. And in which case you can then ask the question, so what does that value look like to you? What's going to be happening when you get that value? Can you tell me about that, please? And so they'll start describing the outcomes and the results they're looking for. They're not talking about your product and your price or necessarily even the technical features of the products. And if they do talk about the features of the products, you can then ask, well, what will that give you? What will that save? Now, this will depend a bit on your industry and the types of activities that the people that you're dealing with have in that industry. So your questions need to be relevant to that, like it might be reducing a cost, increasing production, or whatever. But you want the buyer to be talking about what's happening. Now, the interesting thing is when you start doing this, the dynamic of your conversation fundamentally changes because the buyer's talking about themselves and the results they're getting, not about your products and prices. And so for the buyer, it's a more rewarding and engaging conversation. And ironically, as they talk to you about this, the trust and belief in you starts to grow because of the interest that you're displaying. And then as a result of that, you can start identifying the potential areas where you're going to have a competitive edge as they start describing what they're really after and the outcomes that they really want. Anyway, have a think about that. And down below, if you had any experiences like this in terms of transitioning people into the value conversation, please share the things that you've done. Or if you've got any particular challenges doing that in your industry, by all means, let's ask the question below and we'll look about addressing that in a future video. Cheers.